With one heart, America weeps for the lives lost. With one voice, we vow to crush the monstrous evil of anti-Semitism whenever and wherever it appears. And we're working very hard on that. And I can tell you that we have a lot of people in government working very, very hard on that. But today we're taking another historic action. In just a few moments, I'll sign an executive order to combat anti-Semitism. This action makes clear that Title VI of the Civil Rights Act, which prohibits the federal funding of universities and other institutions that engage in discrimination, applies to institutions that traffic in anti-Semitic hate. So this is a very powerful document that we're signing today.
Hey guys, it's time to deal with what's going on in our nation. If you just watched the video, this video entails executive order that was signed by Donald Trump as a means to, combat anti-Semitism. Now, anti-Semitism, if you don't realize or don't know, is basically unfair criticism of a particular group of people. They claim it to be bias and things of that nature. It's really one of those things that falls under quote unquote hate speech. But the issue with it is how do you police that? This is extremely important because there's these impeachment hearings or whatnot of Donald Trump, and they're talking about all the things as far as the reasons why he needs to be impeached and so on and so forth. But just like we had the government shutdown earlier this year, or whatnot, a lot of times when we have big incidences like that are kind of polarizing, it's mainly because they're trying to get laws and things of that nature pushed through. They do this all the time. Matter of fact, during that time, they were trying to make it illegal for, pretty much any business owner to boycott or use your funds and everything to boycott Israel, because they're trying to, the whole BDS movement, things of that nature is something you'll have to look into. But essentially, what they've been trying to do is protect a group of people who house a good bit of the power here in America. And that's one of those things that they're called an anti-Semitic trope. They say I'm anti-Semitic because I say that the Jewish people house a lot of power. But I mean, if you trace the money, you trace the politicians back to their funders and things of that nature, it all holds true. So, but once again, that's what this is about. So Trump is signing this executive order, and he's pretty much making it illegal to speak out against Jews in a general sense. But the way in which he's doing it is extremely interesting. Now, if you don't think that this affects you, I would strongly urge you to watch the video all the way through so you can see how this actually does affects everyone. If you're a Christian, it definitely affects you because of some of the ideology that the Jewish people hold. Most people don't really understand what they believe and things of that nature. But the Jewish people do not think like Christians. They are not Christians by any sense of the imagination. But yet you have a lot of Zionist Christians that say, hey, we have to support Israel. One of the ones is, if you're looking at the photo here, is this guy that's right there at the podium. His name is Robert Jeffress. He's applauding Trump for this because he's a avid supporter of Zionism. And they basically say, I think Jared Kushner even said it, that if you are anti-Zionism, you think that is anti-Semitic. So they're trying to make religion and thoughts and things of that nature. They're trying to outlaw a lot of things that is starting to direct a lot of attention towards the Jewish people. The reason why a lot of attention is being directed towards them is because more information is coming out about things that they're doing that is just absolutely unjust. The power that they hold, all that kind of stuff. But like I said, Robert Jeffress, people like him, John Hagee, these people are, in my opinion, charlatans. They essentially want you to, they'll say that they're Christians, but they want you to basically support Israel without fail. I mean, claiming that, God gave them that land back. And, I'm not going to go into too much of that today, but, you start to look at history, there's a lot of things that start not to make sense. But this bill that he signs directly attacks all universities that are federally, I can't say the word, federally funded it attacks them financially. They won't receive any support from the federal government if they harbor what is considered anything to be anti-Semitic. The issue with that is how do you begin to police anti-Semitism? And so, now we have an issue within our society where we already are at pretty much civil unrest because we look at the white on black crime and things of that nature, the police brutality, all that kind of comes up. But while we're focused on that, like I said, they're pushing laws like this through that which directly attack our First Amendment rights. But just look at this article. So, Breaking Israel News Live says that Trump signs executive order which declares Jews to be a people or a nation. Now, if you haven't been following Donald Trump is loved by the Jews. His son-in-law is a Jew. His daughter converted to Judaism. His cabinet, he's extremely close with the Jewish people, and they love him. They consider him like King Cyrus or something in the Bible. They always try to make these prophetic implications of things that they're doing because of the laws that are being pushed. But Trump has done a number of different things. There was one Jewish rabbi talking about all the things that Trump has done to help the Jewish people. A few of those things was, I think it was last year, sometime around the same time last year, if I'm not mistaken, Donald Trump declared Jerusalem to be the capital of Israel, which, if you're a Christian, you understand, it makes sense to you. But if you understand like the current construct of like how Israel is laid out now, it caused a whole lot of division over there. When you look at the Gaza crisis and how Israel is dealing with Palestinians within their own border, it's almost, it's pretty much like they're housed in jail within their own land. They don't have any rights, honestly. But it's stuff like that. He also gave Israel, he declared that the Golan Heights is a part of Israel's territory. So he's doing a lot of different things. And this is the latest of what he has done. He's basically, like I said, declared that Jews are a nation. Now, I don't know how man has the right I don't care whatever kind of pen he has to say, hey, this particular religion is now a group of people. But he does that so that he can enforce this law. And so let's read a little bit of the article. But if you look at it, it says Donald Trump announced that he will be signing an executive order on Wednesday intended to withhold federal funding as a means of forcing universities to cope with growing anti-Semitism on the campus. So, in the United States of America and on our college campuses, we're supposed to be able to have dialogue, free speech. We're supposed to be able to discuss matters that affect us in one way or the other, or affect other people. We're supposed to embrace, freedom and things of that nature. So why is it that we're now pushing laws that kind of really push back on that conversation? So, you declare this particular group of people. So that basically means that, if you talk about Judaism now, essentially what you're doing is you're being anti-Semitic. They say you can still criticize them, but I don't know, like this thing is getting really murky. Like when you're pushing laws to try to declare that a particular group of people cannot be talked about, it's just like, I'm black and that, others may be white, but can they have a right to, target certain statements? Like if I go out and say something about a particular group of people, do I have the right not to, if it's a fair criticism? Like if Jews are, destructive and killing people and doing things that are completely unfair, do I have not have the right to say that? But there's a lot of things that you cannot now no longer challenge. And there's a whole lot of pushback in regards to that. And I know there's been some anti-Semitic, things that have been happening here recently over the last couple of years or whatnot in regards to how Jews have been being treated. Certain people running into synagogues and killing up Jews and things of that nature. But there are also some false flags out here as well. There have been cases where I think one time there was this quote unquote bombing, these random acts of terrorism, people, threatening to bomb different places. And it was found out that the people that was doing that, or the person that was doing it, was the Jew himself. You have certain Jews that was putting swastikas on their houses and stuff like that, trying to play it off as if they were a part of some type of hate crime. And so you have a lot of different stuff going on that it's not really making a lot of sense. But, like I said, people who want to impeach Trump, I want to see them talk about this right here, because this is a direct violation of our free speech. But let's look at Title 6, because this is what Trump mentioned in the video. He said this is, this falls under Title 6. Well, Title 6 says that this prohibits discrimination on the grounds of race and then color and national origin by recipients of the federal financial assistance. So, in a nutshell, Title VI prohibits discrimination against a particular group of people based off, certain things like their race, color, and nationality. It does not mention religion, or, you know what I'm saying? So now he's making religion, the religion of the Jews, you can't attack that. You can't attack them as a group of people. And I agree that you should not, college campuses should not discriminate against particular group of people based off things like this, but they're not doing that. And but you have Donald Trump passing this deal where he's trying to make it as if that, this is what, this is what's going on, which is just really not the case. So now let's look at the First Amendment, or what it actually says, and why this is a violation of the First Amendment. It says Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, in regards to free speech and of the press and so on and so forth. So it's literally telling you here that Congress cannot, they cannot do this. A government should not have the right to go and make or prefer one particular religion over another, quote unquote, this is supposed to be a Christian country, things of that nature, but we can't go out and discriminate or prefer an establishment of religion over the next. But based off what Donald Trump just did, he by this executive order violates that right, the constitutional right, by saying that the Jewish people now declaring them to be a nation, that they are exempt from this particular amendment. So, like I said, it's starting to get really, really interesting what they are doing in government. They're changing, like I said, they're changing a lot of laws. And like I said, if you follow Bible prophecy, if you know anything about what's going on, if you follow any of the videos I've done, I've talked about how in the last days that we're going to start to face different types of persecution in regards to, our faith. As a matter of fact, one of the gentlemen in the video actually comes out and says that, anti-Semitism has been a 2,000-year-old, basically struggle. So they've been struggling with this anti-Semitism for 2,000 years.
It will go down in history as one of the most important events in the 2,000-year battle against anti-Semitism. Thank you, Mr. President.
Now, if you listen to one of my videos that I did, I think it was, Time to Wake Up. It was a sermon that I did. I put a piece in there where the lady, she literally says that she roots anti-Semitism in the Bible, and literally says it comes in the New Testament when they say that the Jews killed Jesus.
Anti-Semitism has been rightfully called the longest hatred. I would root it and find its roots in the New Testament, in the story of the death of Jesus.
That story, which has been much debated and disputed, has been interpreted to say that Jews were complicit in the crucifixion.
Jesus, and there has actually been some, discussion about, whether or not they need to take out certain texts in the Bible, or rephrase the Bible and stuff like that, so it can look a little less anti-Semitic. And so this is how far this is going. It's making it to the point to where, okay, now if you cannot produce, if you think about it, if now on college campuses they cannot foster anti-Semitism, can I no longer talk about the Bible and the New Testament scriptures? Like, are they going to alter those as well? Because that has to be what's next, because the Bible literally teaches that the Jews of that time are the ones that persecuted Jesus. So now are they exempt? Are they exempt from that? So, I mean, like I said, it's just getting really, really serious. And like I said, when you start to follow this thing all the way through, it's not looking good, folks. It's not looking good at all, because at this particular point, you got Christians that, like I said, are supporting Donald Trump. They're supporting the things that he's doing, and they're trying to make you believe that pretty much, this is the will of God in a sense. That's really what they want you to believe. But if you study the Bible out, you'll see that this is absolutely the opposite of it. I mean, you even had, once there was the Pittsburgh shooting, Trump said it's time to bring back the death penalty.
This evil anti-Semitic attack is an assault on all of us. It's an assault on humanity. The scourge of anti-Semitism cannot be ignored, cannot be tolerated, and it cannot be allowed to continue. We can't allow it to continue. And when you have crimes like this, whether it's this one or another one on another group, we have to bring back the death penalty. They have to pay the ultimate price.
So if you look into all those different things and stuff like that, you start to become a little bit more, you should become a little bit more concerned about what is actually going on. So there are some other things that are coming out. I really feel like they're about to enforce what is called the Noahide laws. I talked about that a little bit in some of my videos. But like I said, I'm gonna probably do a little bit more detailed video in regards to those so that people know what I'm talking about. But I think they're really finna get ready to start to really, I think Christians, we're gonna start to really see some persecution and some real pushback here in the near future, because the Noahide laws in itself essentially is already a public law. Like, it's already been signed into Congress. And here's the thing that I don't understand. People want to say we're in a democracy and stuff like that or whatever. But if you be honest about it, like, executive orders are a way for a president to write something into law just based off him being in the executive branch, and it be enforceable, and you have to follow the law. And so that's no different than communism. It's the rule of the president. Now, we haven't had it where, a lot of this stuff has just been enforced, but there are executive orders on the book right now that if they wanted to, they can shut down our country. They can impose martial law. They could they could do pretty much whatever they want. And then the rule of law would be based off what that president sees is going to be the best benefit or best fit for society as a whole. So I think what we need to do is become a little bit more informed. Like I said, I'm going to try to continue to post different things so we'll know what to be looking forward to. But there's a lot of things going on, and it's not making sense. This executive order makes no sense. I mean, there should be outcry about it. If you want to impeach Trump, this is what you need to impeach him about. This is a violation of freedom of speech. If we cannot follow the Constitution and laws that have been established and passed down to us, and things of that nature, then what good is he to us if he's now telling us that the laws that we were standing by are now no longer valid. But I guarantee you that these Democrats that want to impeach him, they're not going to bring this up, because most of them are in bed with the Jews, or they're all in bed together. So it's not as if they're against each other. This is a concerted effort. This is intentional, and they want to be able to bring about this, I guess, Jewish utopian here on earth. I mean, look into it. These are not conspiracies. These are things that they believe has to happen. They think that the rule of law has to be the way that, that they understand it in their theology, their books, their Talmud. So, I mean, like I said, it's time to wake up and start to pay more attention to this. But until next time, like I said, I'll try to post a little bit more. But until next time, y'all just, stay encouraged and be blessed.